Folks, welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. I'm Sam, and I'm joined by some colleagues up here. I've got Rich, Demetrius, and Scott over there, and also a couple of very special guests who are here to talk to us about Xenoblade Chronicles X. We have Takahashi-san from Monolith Soft, the executive director of the company, and also we have Gota-san from Nintendo, who is the director on the Nintendo side. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. It's great to have you guys here.
今日来ていただきありがとうございました。何か一言でも。
お願いします。
何かありますか？
そうですね。初めての北米版、ヨーロッパ版発売ということですごく感激しています。はい。
Thank you so much for having us. We're really happy to finally have the chance to present an early look at the localized version that will be released in US and Europe.
All right. So for those who are watching too, we actually have a pretty cool version of this. This is actually one of the localized versions. You want to go ahead and explain that part?
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the middle of localization on this game, but you can see that things are shaping up really nicely. Got a lot of the quest dialogue in place, so we're going to be seeing a lot of the. We can get into the nitty-gritty later, but you're going to see a lot of the stuff is already in place. This has been in the works for a while now. But we figured it was finally a good time to kind of showcase a little bit of what it was going to look like.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here today is we're going to start off by taking just a little tour of New Los Angeles and get some insight from the developers. So why don't we go ahead and kick it off by just starting, what is New Los Angeles? Well, New Los Angeles is a area that's like the last bastion of humanity, which we explained before, and we would like to get a little bit insight on what was the creative. Why did they decide to make New Los Angeles?
なんでニューロサンゼルスにしたいと思いますでしょうか？
まずね、一番の理由はロサンゼルスがすごく好きだったんですよ。それが一番の理由なんですけど、もう一つはニューヨークもいいなと思ったんですけれど、ちょっとビルがいっぱいあってコストかかっちゃうんで、ロサンゼルスだったらダウンタウンだけで済むかなと思ったので、そんな感じで、はい、チョイスしました。
Well, the first reason is just that I'm really a big fan of Los Angeles, the city. But one other reason, to be honest, is that we had at one point considered using New York, but once we realized how difficult and how long it would take to create all of the buildings in downtown New York, we thought Los Angeles would be a much easier goal.
So you've actually spent quite a lot of time right here in the city doing research on different locations and the look of the city. Can you tell us a bit more about your experiences when you were here, kind of scouting out the location and figuring out how to make Los Angeles into New Los Angeles?
で、実際にロスに来て研究していた時にはどんなことをしていたんでしょうか？
そうですね。マップチームで、ロケーションロサンゼルスに来て写真撮っていろんなところに行ってロケーションしました。ただ見てわかるように宇宙船の中の都市ですので、実際のロサンゼルスよりは道はきれいに、するようにそこのところだけちょっと注意してそこ作ってます。
So we took the map team here to Los Angeles and we went all over the city taking pictures, sometimes very late at night just so that we get the right light conditions. But one thing that you'll notice is probably this city is a little bit more spread out and sparse by comparison to Los Angeles, and there are in-game reasons for that as well.
Yeah, I like that we've got here. I mean, the city crashed to Earth. It was a disaster. We weren't really intending to land here, but we got shot down out of the sky. So you're seeing things are damaged. They're still trying to rebuild them and trying to make this city a place where, like, we're basically refugees in this game and trying to find this as our home base. I also think the design of the strip is so interesting when you come crashing down and you've got this huge, like, biodome. I imagine there was quite a lot of work that went into the design of the white whale. Even though it crashes and we only see parts of it, it looks really cool.
まずは着陸してからまた工事中のところいっぱいありそうですけど。
そうですね。マップの中で下の水が見えるところいっぱいあるんですけれども、そこは宇宙船が着陸したショックで全部抜け落ちちゃって、はい、工事中でこれからまたどんどん作っていくっていう設定の場所になってます。
Yeah, you'll see when you look down on the map view of New Los Angeles, there are a lot of areas that are just missing. These are all pieces that broke off when the ship was entering the atmosphere. And over the course of the game, you will learn about the stories of the people here are slowly rebuilding the city.
I can kind of show an overhead view here just to show everyone how big this area is. You have the boats, the yard, a little bit of water, the water industry. Some nice buildings here. This is where the administrative district is. All right, so this is pretty cool. One thing I actually wanted to know about is one of my favorite races in this game is the Nopon, and I was wondering what inspired them to create these cool little guys, like we have right here, the Tots.
またノポン族のデザインについて聞きたいですけど、何かどういうものでインスパイアされたでしょうか、そのデザインで。
ノポン族というのはペンギンとフクロウ、この2つをうまく合わせて可愛らしいものを作れないかなというコンセプトでデザインしてます。で、ゼノブレイドクロニクルの方で出てきたんですけれども、今回も同じようなマスコットキャラクター的な位置づけで登場させてます。
The design for the Nopon is actually based on an idea we had of what a penguin crossed with an owl would look like.
Wow.
But we also took a few liberties in designing the shape of it so that it looked like some of the mascot characters you see in Japan.
Oh, that's so cool. I love looking at him and seeing him and other elements here. It's really great that if you don't have to have played Xenoblade Chronicles to play and enjoy this game and totally follow along with the story. But with the Nippon and some of the other elements, you're going to see little nods to that original game. So if you've played it, you get a lot more out of the experience just with these little things that you can recognize in the environments.
やっぱり前作を遊んだ人にはそういうノポン族を見ると嬉しいですね。
ありがとうございます。
Yes, it's a nice little touch to add there for fans of the previous game.
I don't know.
That's great.
Can
All
we
right,
take
so
a look behind Tots because I love
Oh,
his
yeah.
backpack.
Right,
Like
the
as far as
backpack is
thinking of this
amazing.
cute little fluffy chubby critter who has to survive in Miro where there's so many monsters, it looks like he's got a monster's face on his backpack. So maybe if a monster snuck up on him, it'd be like, I'm big and scary, look at my teeth. And he's got like faces on the side too.
It's got a little camouflage.
all right, so why don't we go ahead and start a quest? So we have one we're going to do today called Once We Were Soldiers. I'm going to go ahead and start this out, accept the mission, and we'll go ahead and kick back and let everybody watch the subtitles.
Now we're still in the middle of voice recording on all this stuff, so we don't have any voice in this ROM yet. You're going to hear a lot of the Japanese voice still. You can see the subtitles are in place. You're going to get the gist of what the story is. Again, this is a work in development. You're going to see a lot of changes between this and the final release version as we get more time to polish the text.
But it's a good start.
It's playable, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's been really
All right,
fun
so I'm
being
going to go
able
ahead
to
and
spend time with this
see.
with the
Ask
office.
why I'm going to worry.
Yeah, this is a chance for us to see, like, when you have these dialogues, when you have these cutscenes, you have a disposition that you can take when you're responding to questions that come up. So we can finally show off a little bit of how that influences, like, the branching paths of dialogue.
Building the affinity with your party members. Yes, yes.
So looking at the characters here, we can see a lot of the different armor and customizations that your different characters in your party can wear. Can you tell us a little bit more about the development of the equipment and the armor? Because it's really amazing. Whenever you change something on your characters, you see it right there. There's so many different options to choose from.
やっぱりキャラの装備を変えるとすぐにそのキャラの過去で分かると思いますが、その装備のデザインについて何か一言どうも。
そうですね、まず SF サイファイなので着てかっこいいやつというのを目指して作ってます。で中にはちょっとこうセクシーなやつもあったんですけれども、特にこう世界で売るってことを考えるとそこの調整が非常に大変だったと思います。はい。
Yeah, there's really a lot of customization options available with the equipment in the game. You're going to notice that they have very different influences depending on which alien race they were designed by. And you might notice that some of them have more of a utilitarian feel while others are a bit more flashy. So you can choose on your own exactly how much of your own personal color you want to show out there in the field.
Very true, very true. All right, now let me go ahead and explain what this mission is going to be. So this right here is a heart-to-heart mission. So after going on one of these missions, I built a lot of affinity, as we talked about before. This quest, or excuse me, mission in particular, has multiple objectives. So this first part, is to collect 3 parts, but I'm getting attacked right now. I'm gonna go ahead and actually just let it rip. Get everybody a little sneak peek, some combat. Oh, this guy's already super tough. We'll get right into it though.
So what's folks who are watching will see here, up on the screen you have a lot of different information presented to you. You can see how your characters are doing their hit points. You are controlling your own attacks, and then the party members around you are auto-attacking, but they're also shouting commands out at you to help you with, maybe do this is going to be a good idea, because your party members have been out surviving in Mira a little bit longer than you have. And an arts palette on the bottom that's going to be very familiar for folks who've played Xenoblade Chronicles. What's nice, though, is even though you're getting all this information, you don't necessarily have to pay attention to it. It's there if you want to take advantage. And you can actually turn off certain elements if you'd rather not have that present on the screen. But you can make this really as deep an experience as you want it to be based on, okay, how much of this am I going to be paying attention to? Maybe I'm not going to worry too much about certain details, but I'm going to be very focused on others. But there's a lot of stuff here that can be very helpful as you're playing. And,
yes, it's very tricky.
Such a cool monster. I'd love to hear more about the design of the creatures on this world, because they've got a really cool, really distinctive look to them, and there's so many different creatures for you to encounter in this world.
で、敵のデザインですが、敵をデザインしていた時に何を大事にして作っていたでしょうか。
異性の生物ではあるんですけれども、現実の例えばこの雲であるとかカニであるとかっていったもののイメージをしやすいところをうまく融合させて作るのがちょっと大変だったと思います。
We tried to go for a balance of shapes and forms that were familiar to people in the real world. You just saw a creature that was sort of like a crab or a spider, but add something to it to make it feel really alien and take it to a slightly unsettling place that really sells this as an unusual, unknown locale.
Like that venom sac at the base of the spider, which Demetrius wisely blasted off of him first, so that he would no longer be able to spew venom at you.
Which also gives you a better opportunity to collect some rare materials, which is something that's also really great about this game, is hunting down monsters, the bigger, rarer monsters, and looking for that rare material that drops, or that rare weapon or piece of gear. It's one of the things I really like about this game, and it makes combat so addictive. Because not only is it fun just to be in battle, but you can have a really high chance of getting a reward for a very long-fought battle. Okay, let's move on to the next area. Let's see here.
Back on track for the quest now, yeah?
Yeah, I got caught off guard by that guy. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Last time I just snuck right through and it was all good. Okay.
So we're on one of the continents right now, but folks who maybe have watched our other streams will have noticed that the different continents on Mira have really different looks and really different ecosystems. Do you guys have a favorite of the different areas of Mira?
ミラの大陸で言えば何か気に入るのところは何かありますか？
僕の気に入ってる場所はここの今いるところの、西側の大陸になりますね。日本名で夜行の森と呼んでるんですけども、ジャングルみたいな場所なんですけど、そこがすごく夜が綺麗で、気に入ってます。
My favorite continent is actually one to the west of where you are right now, called Noctilum, that has a lot of really interesting bioluminescence, so it's really beautiful at night.
It's
Very
also
dangerous at night, too.
dangerous, yeah.
That's probably my favorite as well. Oh, I also like Silvalum, the one that's right in front above. I always found the weather patterns, particularly in this game, to be really interesting. I'm kind of curious about that, actually. How was it for them to implement the weather? Was that a really fun process, such as the sandstorms, the energy storms? Going to Silvalum where everything is so fuzzy, you can't see. I love that stuff. I'm just curious how they went about creating all the different weather patterns.
なんでそこまで詳しく天気のパターンを入れようと思いましたでしょうか？その砂の嵐とか雷の嵐とか。
天気によって、出てくるエネミーが違ったりとか、また、自分がダメージを受けたりとか、逆に自分が有利になったりとかっていったところを、出したかったので、そういう意味でもいろんな天候を増やしていろんなケース局面をマップの中に入れました。
Well, the way that we're using weather in this game is it can allow for certain enemies to appear. Like some enemies might only be available on that part of the map when it's raining. Also, certain weather patterns will give you buffs or debuffs depending on what you're wearing or what the weather is. And once we included it as a mechanic like this, we just decided to run with it and think of some interesting different ones that we could include.
I think it really gives the game a unique sense of atmosphere and design. It really makes the planet feel exotic. That's probably the coolest thing. I think on top of all the awesome artwork.
It's interesting how much scarier Mira gets at night as well, because then you get some really intense monsters. So if you're a little nervous as soon as it's nighttime, you're thinking, maybe I'm going to go somewhere safe. Just wait this out.
Yeah, for me, I mean, in the previous ones that we have done here before live, I was always scared of going through Noctilum, the one that he was saying is his favorite, because it's so deadly at nighttime.
A few quests where I'm so overwhelmed by the level of the enemy that I've just bolted and just kind of skulked my way around the corners and tried to not be seen by any of the enemies as I'm moving.
Let's see here.
It's
I think I'm
pretty
going to
tense.
swim across. I'm going to actually go ahead and travel. We're a little
You're
bit
gonna do a little
faster.
quick travel.
Yeah, I'll swim across, but it's probably not the most interesting thing. But I
So-
love that you can swim, though.
So
Oh, we
right
need to
now
see
in your
this
quest,
monster.
oh my.
Get a look at that guy.
It's
So
really
right now
cool.
in the
So
quest,
cool.
you've found the 3 missing parts of the white whale, and you picked up a distress signal, and now you're investigating that distress signal, right?
Correct. And that's something cool to point out is how it's not just defeat this monster or pick up this item. We did pick up some items. Now it's doing a little bit more than just that. Actually, I have to defeat a boss now, so I guess it is defeat a monster, but it gets more into an investigation. It's really cool. I always liked how it adds all the steps.
I like how
to
every step along the way, there's a new twist in the plot that drives you into the next step. It's not just go grab this, go grab that.
Exactly.
But there's you get the distress signal, you get there.
Yeah,
you find
there's
the monster.
simple quests, there's easier missions, there's simple missions, there's more complex ones, there's one that's involves storyline. So there's dozens of different ways to explore this world.
So one of the things I think is really distinctive about the game is just how open the world is, and the fact that I know your team worked really hard to make sure that if you could see something, you can actually get there. There aren't even loading screens separating you from these areas. You can run to something, climb to something, swim, or maybe you're going to be flying your Skell up to something. Can you tell us a bit more about the challenges of that? Because it seems like a pretty tall order to have a world that's fully explorable like this.
こういうようなオープンワールドのゲームを作るにはやはりいろんなチャレンジがあると思いますが、見えるところなら行けるというにはやはり作るには何かチャレンジがありますか？
そうですね、ゲーム全体を通して最初に徒歩で移動しつつ、スケールテーブルに入れてからさらに空を飛べるようになってっていう段階があるんですけど、そのゲームのトータルの遊ぶ時間の中でどこに区切りを入れていくかっていうのがすごく難しいチャレンジでしたね。
Yes, this was a really big challenge. Even from the earliest planning stages, we had to think about how much time we had available to us in development, and think about how much land can we create, and how much content can we put in that land to make it interesting. And that eventually led us to the amount of content and land that you see in the game. We knew that we would have just enough time to make 5 continents and make all of it interesting.
Excellent.
Really fun exploring this. And
Here's a little
speaking of
boss
monster
battle.
designs,
I want to point something out about that canyon you just ran through. The last couple of times we ran through this demo and you showed me where you were going to go. It was nighttime and all those bugs were awake and active and
They're
attacking
aggressive.
you every time you tried to go through there.
Yeah.
And I remember you tried leapfrogging from one end of the wall to the other, all the way across.
Oh yeah, I made it through.
It was it's just a good thing that it's daytime, I guess, is where I'm going with this
Yes,
right now.
yes, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and take this boss down. I'm gonna go ahead and try to lock onto his arm.
yeah, this is something
there we
really
go.
interesting, I think, when you're looking at the fact that you can target different parts of the enemies, and you can also do that when you're fighting enemy Skells as well. And him, he's the hands, I think, are scary.
There it goes. One part popped off.
Can you tell us a bit more about what it was like figuring out how you could damage parts of enemies and do the targeted focus on those?
コンバットについての質問ですが、なんで敵をなんかいろんな部分をフォーカスできるようにしたいと思いましたでしょうか。
ですね、敵の部位によって得られるアイテム、マテリアルですね、それが異なるので、いろんな部位を壊して手に入れてもらえるように設定してあります。
There's a couple of reasons we wanted to make it so you could target different body parts of the enemies. One is so that you could disable a particular kind of attack if you were having trouble with that while fighting the enemy. Another is that if you target a certain part of the enemy, it changes what sort of materials they will drop. So if you target the horn of a horn creature, it might drop that horn.
Nice.
That was a close one. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So that guy has like a really powerful punch, and it can be in the right conditions a one-hit kill. And I saw you lost Lynn partway through there, but you landed it.
Yeah, that's why I was a little quiet and focused, because I have to make sure to direct him. I have to always kind of like stay to the sides, because if he hits me, it's pretty much or close to enough a one-hit KO. I know that Elmo was getting low on life, so I had to make sure to keep my eye on everything and let all the healing properly go through.
So before you progress past here, there's something I've always wondered about. Can you go to the thing, I think it's behind you, it looks like legs.
Oh, right here.
Can you please tell us what the story is with these legs? Because they're so creepy, and it looks like that monster maybe just ripped someone in half and left part of it there.
このトレジャーボックスはドールの足ですか？
そうですね、異星人のドールの足になります。
Yes, this is the remnant of an alien skull that was damaged in combat.
Oh,
Excellent. Although I can't
brutal.
open it because I don't have the skill for it yet.
I was going to say, maybe that's why it's so challenging for you, is because it's like this new thing you've never seen before. I love that little hint of like backstory that you see just from the terrain.
All right.
Oh, that was my stomach.
Shortcut.
oh, nice.
Anywhere you can see, you can go. So I always jump off cliffs and try to find the short way around.
So on top of all the different like monster species that you run into on Mira, there are some other intelligent species as well as the Nippon that you get to encounter as you're playing the game. Can you tell us a little bit more about developing those other sentient species that you get to interact with?
この星にはノポン以外にもなんかその知能を持ってる宇宙人の種類がいっぱいあると思いますが、それについてなんか他の種類について語っていただけますか？
そうですね、ノポン人以外に、友好的な、異星人が2つぐらいいたかな、はい、でそれ以外に敵対する、バイアスって呼ばれる、異星人もいます。はい。
So in addition to some of the friendly species, you're also going to encounter some hostile species, not all of which are native to Mira. One of which that you encounter is the bias, which I think we're calling the prone in the localized version. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you're going to have some unfriendly encounters with them pretty quickly.
We've shown off a little bit of that in previous Treehouse lives.
Yeah.
They're not pleasant.
That's for sure. You run into them a lot after a while, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so what happened here was they got a distress signal, and it was from Marina. We wanted to make sure that she was okay. That's when I went and found the simian there, who was from the distress signal, defeated him, and then jumped off and found that she was okay. She's a little hurt, but everything's all good. And that's gonna be the end of the mission. I just need to go turn it in. One thing I'd like to actually point out, if we can take the opportunity, is maybe show, since we got some time here, show a little bit, let's see, go in the party. Maybe we should talk about battle cries.
Sure, we can talk a little bit about battle cries. They're complicated. They're real complicated to explain, at least like from the writing standpoint. So basically, every character will do like a shout out in the middle of a battle, telling you what kind of skill, what kind of art they want you to use.
And we've shown this screen before, so I thought this would be pretty cool to people actually see how crazy this can go.
Like I said, it's complicated.
So this is still under development, but I thought it would actually be pretty neat is to see like all the options and the stuff that you have. So I know a lot of people have actually seen us showing the combat and the way everyone has attacks and their little text pops up above their head, and they're like, do this attack, do an orange attack, do a melee attack. So that screen right there would show is the first translated screen of how the options you can pick and what different battle cries are.
So one thing we haven't really shown off here, since we're focusing on the TV screen here, is the Wii U gamepad and what you're seeing down there with the map of Mira that you're gradually building. Could we learn a little bit more about how the gamepad functionality was developed? Because I think the hex map system is really interesting, and how you're gradually exploring this completely unknown planet as you're playing the game.
で、地図についての質問ですが、なんでこういうセグメントのシステムにしたいと思いましたでしょうか。
今回ワールドマップ全体の地図が、オープンワールドという形態をとっているので、どうしても行けるところがありすぎて迷っちゃうかなというふうに感じましたので、それを避けるために明確な目的を設定するために結構セグメントという形でマップをかなり細かく分けてみました。
Well, one thing that happens when you design such a large area in an open world game is people don't really know where they should go or what they should do next. But we found that when we divided into these hexagonal segments, we could make sure that we were spacing out interesting objectives and things you could discover on your own, unique creatures, and give people the feeling that they were sort of filling in all the blanks as they moved through the world exploring it.
That sense of discovery is really apparent when I've been wandering through the map, not just because you enter a new zone and you get a little pop-up that tells you that you're in a new zone, but also you find different terrain features. There's I forget the name of it right now. It's like a unicorn-shaped rock. It might just be called Unicorn Rock.
Avalanche.
And you can find that in one of the zones as you're walking around, and you get like a little pop-up that tells you that you've discovered a new landmark. And then there are some other places you can go to that you can see like landmark vistas. And if you go out to these locations, you'll get just an impressive view. If that's what you're looking for in the game, you can go out and you find these impressive views and take advantage of like all of the terrain and just take a moment and have a breather and jump back into battle and kill some things for a while.
Oh, and we're going to go ahead and finish up this quest. I forgot to finish it up, so that's going to be one part. We'll do that, and maybe we can visit a new continent?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Whoa, I don't know what happened there.
Like I said, work in progress.
Sorry about that.
If we've got some time, I would love to show off some scale action as well, because I'm very fond of checking those guys out.
All right.
So the scales, since we've shown them off before, we can chat about those a little bit as well. The huge mechs that you get to drive and customize. What's interesting there is how customizable they are as well. You've got different weight classes. You've got a lot of different equipment that you can load out to really change how your mech is going to handle and do in combat. How complicated was the process of developing those and all the different customizations options as well?
またドールの装備についてですが、そういうような武器とか防具をいっぱい作るにはやはりチャレンジがあったでしょうか。
はい、今回ドールロボットについては普通に作るだけじゃなくて、トランスフォームして、移動もできるような構造になっているので、それのバランスを取るのがすごく大変でした。
Yeah, it's really difficult to get the right balance. You have so much gear available. You want to make sure that everything looks the right way on the light, medium, and heavy versions. And you can go for a unified look, or you might be going in a slightly different direction with your character. But we wanted to make sure that at least the dolls had that unified look. Skulls, that is.
Yeah, I love the equipment and how it changes combat. Mine for a while just was dual wielding swords and looked so cool. They were like red, shining, glowing. I felt like a boss. It was nice.
Why don't we go ahead and visit?
So where are we off to next?
I'm thinking, why don't we go to Oblivia? It's something we haven't shown yet.
Okay, we can show off a new continent. Now the nice thing is there are no consequences to dying. So let's do it. Let's go ahead.
All right. We got quite a bit of time here, so what I'm going to do is fast travel to Primordia, to the edge.
Okay, so we're moving straight to the outer edge of Primordia, and from there you're just going to charge on into an uncharted land, maybe.
I probably will die a lot.
It's okay. This is.
But this is the fun part, actually. I love that this game is open-ended, and you can just go to anywhere you want to explore. I mean, you might get beat down, but that's kind of the fun aspects. Maybe there might be something there I can collect, maybe like a treasure box, or maybe a low-level enemy I can take down. However, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we haven't got a chance to really show our audience what Bolivia looks like, which is a desert region. And let's see, we're almost there. Wow, what is that in the forward? I haven't seen this enemy in a while.
So I think it is
This
really helpful that
design.
when you're coming up to an enemy, there's actually a fair bit of information that you can get about an enemy just by looking at it. There's some different icons and the level information and some other things there as well. Oh, what's that one there?
For example, this guy right here with the glowing red eye icon. The red means he's hostile. He'll attack you. The eye means that he's visual, so he's looking for you. If he can see you,
Yep.
he'll attack you. There are other types of ways of being detected. You might be heard or sensed in other ways. Demetrius chose the better path of valor there.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go near them.
And
Take a
just
look at that flying
stayed out
monster
of
that was
eye
over to the
shot.
left.
He's a level 51 and I'm level 16.
You're
so,
fine. It's
yeah.
okay.
He's going to step on me
Just
like an
go
ant.
big.
Do you think you can get another look at that big flying monster that was on your left-hand
Yes,
side there? There was something that
absolutely.
looked really cool.
Oh, I missed him.
That's the one I saw earlier. I was wondering. Now, it did change time of day, so it may be gone.
Might
Oh,
have
is
already
that?
flown off.
It's not a night monster.
No, there
Oh
he is,
wow!
there he
All
is.
right, there he is. Yeah.
That is so
He's
cool.
flying away. Come back.
Now he's
It's
going
probably
off to
best
do
you
his own
don't
thing.
pick
Yeah,
a
he's
fight
out.
with that right now.
It's all good, though. Let's continue on. So it looks like we're okay in the level 12s and level 13s here.
So you're coming up on a Moranium vein. Is that one that you've already dropped a probe on?
No, this is actually something I have not yet. Oh, cool.
All right,
Mechanical
so
level 1. So a good time to actually probably explain that again to those who haven't seen. I'm going to go ahead and drop this node into this frontier nav spot. And on my touchscreen now, I can actually see all the data next to it. So it looks like I have a treasure chest to my left, and the monster too I can take out below me. Oh, yeah, it's below me. It's probably that guy that was walking around.
and you also now have a new fast travel point that you didn't have
Correct,
before.
correct.
So instead of having to run across the distance into this new continent, you'll be able to fast travel all the way over there once you've deposited that probe.
Correct.
And this interesting, the structures here, it almost looks like they've been crafted by someone.
Yeah.
Really neat.
Actually, that's a
looking.
good question. Maybe we have a little insight onto the art and the structures of this area.
Steering clear of spoilers, of course.
Yeah.
この大陸には宇宙人のこういうような構造がいっぱいありますけど、この遺跡に見えますが、何か意味がありますでしょうか？
これはここのエリアに昔あった文明の遺跡という設定の場所ですね。でこれ以外に今この星に来ている異星人が作った砦というかベースキャンプがいくつかあります。
So yeah, this continent is really interesting from an archaeological perspective. There are a lot of artifacts and these large structures that were created by another alien race that came to Mira and set this up as sort of a large fortress, but has since abandoned it.
So I know when you're playing,
Awesome.
there are a lot of different ways you can customize your character as far as your weapons and your combat style. Do you have a favorite yourself when you're playing?
で、高橋さんにも、まあ、一番好きなクラスは、
That monster's
戦い方は何でしょうか？
僕はだいたいデバッグをしているときはロングソードと、アサルトライフルを使ってましたね。日本刀が好きなので、刀を使えるクラスを使ってました。
I've mostly stuck with the assault class, which uses a long sword and an assault rifle, and I think that's probably because I have a certain fondness for Japanese swords.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's the class I'm using. That's great.
You picked well, Demetrius. Good job.
I know. I hope I don't let him down then.
Oh, let's take a look at the monster coming there.
This is your chance.
That looks so cool.
This is it. This is it. Go for the glory.
Wow.
A level 27.
You can take it.
Is he 20? Oh, he's only 20. I thought he said 47. This is nothing. This is easy.
Really? I could try. You know what? I'll go for it.
Let's see you do it.
So let me get in here.
Since we were just talking about the battle call-outs, you're seeing them pop up in different colors on the screen.
Yes.
They're also going to be voiced, of course. But the color of the call-out is a clue to what... Well, all right.
So some of the monsters are really big and stompy, and you maybe want to avoid them.
I tried. I can't...
Like I said, no
tried.
consequences. There's no consequences to trying.
That is the cool part, though. So I reappeared right at the last checkpoint or the last area that I just dropped a probe into. So that's always good.
So it's always worth taking the risk.
I think
Especially when
so.
your friends are watching. They're egging you on.
There's a special enemy here. I don't think I'll be able to take him out. Let's see if I can try.
We'll look for someone a little bit more to your
Yeah.
level. I won't throw you into any insane combat anymore.
It already happened, man.
I got to see it.
So another element that we have here that's returning from the earlier Xenoblade games is the all the items that you can collect as you're exploring. I think it's interesting. It gives you another encouragement to really check out each environment and find out what's there, but it gives each area a kind of different flavor as well, because you're going to be finding different things along the way. I imagine there's some stuff that's very hard to find that you've really got to hunt for as well.
Yeah, it's always a wonder.
It's a wise choice to steer clear of him this time.
I was definitely
approve.
not going near it. I'm just trying to get to this
To make it to the
spot
next
right
checkpoint.
here. Yeah.
So I know that you spent a lot of time here in Los Angeles doing research into the area for the setting of the city. As far as the different environments that we're seeing here, how did you go about researching the different kinds of landscape that you wanted to include in the game?
ロースで研究していたとさっきは言っていましたけど、このいろんな大陸を作るにも何か研究されていたでしょうか。
そうですね、研究というわけではないんですけれども、いろんな場所を探索してほしかったので、例えばここの大陸だと、表に見えるところだけじゃなくて、洞窟とかダンジョンみたいなやつがたくさんあるので、そういうのをたくさん見つけて遊んでもらうところに気を配って設計してます。
Well, not so much research in creating the continents, but there was a lot of thought that went into giving people interesting areas to explore. And one of the things that you'll find in this continent is that some of the most interesting things you can find are not even on the surface, but rather inside caves. There are a lot of dungeon-like structures that you can go through and explore with branching pathways and interesting things at the end of each run.
And I'm sure terrifying creatures hiding in caves as well.
There's actually one area in here that's really, really cool. People can find it eventually. I think they will.
I wonder if we're probably not going to make it all the way there in the time that we have left.
No, we only have a couple minutes left, so maybe see if I can take out
We can just tease people with it.
something.
I like this outpost that you just ran across as well with the army of skulls set up and all kind of in a formation.
Let me. Oh, here's a level
this is pretty
17.
cool there.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, if I fail this, this is
See
gonna
if
be
you can do
sad.
this.
Now we're just looking for an enemy you can beat up.
I gotta make up for it.
This gives us a chance to show off a little bit more of the battle cries that I was hoping to get into
Yes.
earlier. You can see on your arts palette across the bottom, certain arts are like flashing when one of your allies calls out for you to use them. So that's your cue. That's when you know that they're asking you to do a buff or to do a melee attack or a different kind of attack. And they can be very complicated. They can be asking you to knock down enemies. And if you follow through, if you're able to do the thing that they're asking you to do with the right timing, you'll get an opportunity to heal up your allies with a quick, like a reflex action.
Yes. Look at that, and you see that screen pop.
Yeah, so we've been seeing that throughout this, throughout the combat. We've talked about that in the past, but I don't think we touched on it right there. And so your allies all get like a quick health boost. Which come in handy in this case. You're pretty likely to take him down pretty fast.
Generally, especially a lot of the moves are much more powerful when that occurs. Let's see. Pop. There was another one right
Impeccable.
there.
Oh, your friends are doing a lot of the hard work there. Yeah.
He's trying to add to the
job.
commentary. It was a little difficult.
It's good to have the right friends.
Yeah,
Well,
for
that's
sure.
about all the time we have for today. So I think it's good we end on a high point. Finishing a battle, not dying, it's excellent. So we'll
That
hang
works
up
for
there.
me.
But thank you so much for joining us and giving some insight into the development of this game. Really excited. It's coming out at the end of this year, so really soon folks will be able to play this and start exploring Mirror for themselves. So thank you again for your time. It's really great to have you here.
今日来ていただきありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Yes, thank you. It was my pleasure.
All right, well, folks, please stay tuned. We're going to be coming back in a few moments with some more gameplay for another title that's going to be coming out before too long. Hopefully see you back in a few moments. Thanks very much.